you don't like the control, grid, divide, and conquer news matrix? Well, this video is for you, where we're going to go over all the important news that happened today that will be provided from an anti-establishment point of view. And that's why today we're going to be talking about Antifa finally picking on someone their own size, a dreadlock false flag, it being illegal to actually say illegal in New York City, a major social media psychological operation, and, all the other boring stuff with impeachment and, Civil War 2.0. But yeah, that stuff is really boring and redundant, and it's just literally Russia Gate 2.0 repeating itself on a cycle. That's why we're going to wait until the end of the video to talk about that specific issue. But first of all, there's a viral video going around right now of a very elderly old lady who's having a difficult time going through the street with a walker, with Antifa standing in her way, screaming at her, calling her the German N-word that we can't say here on YouTube. And yes, the very stunning and brave, as characterized by the mainstream media, Antifa, could be seen here very... What is wrong with these people? I can't even be sarcastic here. And again, this is an elderly couple going to an event where Maxine Bernier, a kind of libertarian politician, is meeting with Dave Rubin, who of course is letting everyone know he's gay, who has nuanced ideas, is somewhat favorable to kind of other right-wing personalities. But they were holding an event, and literally this is the scene that unfolded right now that's absolutely going viral right now. And imagine thinking you're the good guy in all of this. And I think this is a good time to remind everyone that previously, before, police officers have been caught dressing up as Antifa and acting like them. Antifa, also as an ideology, has been promoted by the mainstream media. So yeah, I'll let you guys chew on that. And the story just reminded me of the fact that I was also beat, attacked, accosted, and assaulted in the streets of Hamburg, Germany by German alleged Antifa while being called the bad German word, which is, I would just say a little bit ironic, since, of course, I'm, Polish and have family that fought against the bad German N-words. Family that, of course, was sent to work camps and concentration camps by the bad German N-words. So, that's kind of very ironic. Just like our next story, which is also upside down, and an update from a story that we just heard 3 days ago of a horrendous, horrible story of a 12-year-old girl that was pinned down and attacked because of her race by evil, white, oh my goodness, Christian boys. Yes, from the male anatomy. Couldn't get any more worse than vicious than this. White Christian boys who attacked this 12-year-old girl, pinned her down, cut off her dreadlocks, and said racial epithets of hatred and bigotry. And we found out today that the whole story was completely made up. Now, of course, there's a lot of different takeaways that you could have from this entire situation, but overall, I don't think we should be focusing on the girl, but we should definitely be focusing on the social conditions in our society that created this situation that seems to be repeating itself, and mainly pushed on by, of course, the mainstream media that now has to retract the racially motivated divide and conquer agenda that they push on you. Because what they're essentially doing is trying to get you to hate and fight your fellow man with, of course, sensational racial headlines in order to evoke fear into you to push a certain agenda. So this girl finally owned up, and her parents did the right thing, and they came out and said that the story that the media ran with was completely false and completely made up. And in my opinion, this story should have never been a major news headline that was run nationwide, because it doesn't really affect that many people, and it should have been fact-checked before being spread by news organizations all over this country. And number two, this to me says a lot about the kind of social media incentives of the victimhood culture that is promoted, not only by people on the left, but also people on the right to do this as well. And I could even tell you stories of hanging out with other personalities in the media field that were looking to get hurt, that were looking to put themselves in particular situations that I remember questioning them like, hey, this is extremely dumb. This is extremely regressive. And it's just sad that people think that they have to be hurt in order to get some kind of prominence online. And I think the way that we choose to view media and how media has become a car wreck kind of analogy of it itself, with a lot of people just watching car wrecks after car wrecks, I think this says a lot more about us as individuals, as news consumers, than it does this 12-year-old girl that obviously made a very, very big mistake here. And with her being this young, I don't attribute this to any kind of evil behavior, but I do attribute this to our culture and society that is being manipulated by social media, which we're going to get into in just a little bit here with the PSYOP information. But compare to what's happening with this kind of activism that is being pushed on by the mainstream media, this kind of actions that have spurred the current situations where literally grandmas are having a hard time walking down the street because they're called Nazis because they want to listen to libertarians and a gay guy talk about specific issues. This is a situation ultimately created by the mainstream media, and it's an absolute laughingstock when you compare it to the movements that do happen in other places in the world like Hong Kong. The movement of the left has been co-opted by special interests. The movement of resistance, the movement of protest is no longer a movement at all of any significance, of any authenticity in the United States. It is a movement filled with artificial agenda pushing for special interests and for those in power. Sorry, I'm going off a rant here. I don't mean to be just ranting at you guys, but compared to the Hong Kong situation, what's happening in the Western world, specifically in the United States and Canada, especially with left-wing activism, is just an absolute shame. As, of course, we are headed towards a major anniversary in China that, of course, is set to be a major crescendo of the movement there. As you know, we've been covering this movement on the ground individually. We just made a video yesterday about this, which you could see on our channel. But just to give you the latest developments here, it is being reported by Reuters that China is doubling its troop levels on the Hong Kong border. Hong Kong police officers are warning that the protest that will happen soon will be, quote, very, very dangerous for anyone who decides to participate, and they are making it an illegal protest, which is set to, of course, clash with authorities on this very, very important date that will happen in just a few hours. As, of course, the city is literally hunkering down for the violence that they expect to happen. And in related communist, totalitarian, social credit score control grid societies that give no life to freedom and prosperity, we of course have the latest news from New York City that under a new City Hall directive created a restriction that could punish an individual $250,000, $250,000 for saying the term illegal alien. Yes, this is not a joke. This is the absolute dreadful totalitarian police state that slaves of New York City live under. This is one of the reasons why I'm afraid to leave the house. like when it comes to leaving the house, I'm like, okay, I got my handy cam. I got one phone ready, I got a second phone ready, I'm ready to film, record everything. I'm watching my eyeballs, not only because the people here don't know how to drive, and you always got to be careful of cars hitting you, but predominantly, you jaywalk, you run a little bit too fast in a specific, there will be cops on your booty, like white on rice, trying to ticket and fine you to build up the money for the state that keeps promising everything to the people here and keeps delivering just bullcrap services. And again, the city, with its financial constraints, is going bankrupt. And one of the ways that they stop going bankrupt, one of the ways that they fill their coffers, that they fill their treasury is with fining people. So it doesn't surprise me that this unconstitutional law, which probably will be overturned in a court of law with any sane judge, if we could still have some sane judge, is happening right now. This is why such kind of restrictions are imposed here on the people of New York City, which is just absolutely mind-boggling to understand of why am I even here? Why do I live here? That's another thing that I got to work out on myself. But moving forward in other psychological operations, because when you look at the greater push and promotion on social media and, of course, the mainstream media of any activism, it's to push for more power, more control of government officials. This is why the left has been co-opted the way it has been. There's very few individuals on the left, by the way, that are still true to their cause, that are still true to free speech, true to freedoms of individuals, and those people should be praised and those people should be supported. But predominantly, as movement has been co-opted, and related to this kind of larger conversation, we have new news that we are finding out that one of Twitter's main executives is a former British intelligence officer that worked in the psychological operations division, specifically in information warfare that worked on behavioral changes. Yes, the Twitter executive responsible for editorial responsibilities, deciding what is shown to you, at the same time is working for the British Army Psychological Warfare Unit. Why is this surprising to you, but not me? Well, if you look at the way that social media has been operating, it should make perfect sense into exactly the effects that social media is having on society and the cause that social media is providing. So this is an exclusive by the Middle East Eye, and you have to understand when you're consuming social media, whether the Facebook algorithm, the Twitter algorithm, specifically also the YouTube algorithm, which, by the way, buries us down below and promotes the mainstream media garbage, that promotes lunacy thinking, that promotes Antifa, that promotes the idea of more government, of more control, in protest of government. For some reason, that's such a delusional, stupid, asinine thing. But again, I digress here. The reason you have to understand this is when you're consuming social media now, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you're consuming what special interests want you to see, what they want promoted. Even the view counts, analytics, and numbers are being manipulated to make you believe that certain ideas are popular and others are not. A big reality check to what you think is just innocent scrolling, and it's not. It's meant to fill a bigger agenda that, of course, will profit off of your control and manipulation. So yeah, you might want to kind of just like process that a little bit. Maybe if you have someone that, doesn't really know about any of this stuff, you might as well just like be like, hey, like check out this video. Wouldn't hurt me. Okay. Now moving to the last topic, the most boring topic, the Civil War, hubbub that's happening right now. We of course have Donald Trump warning right now through his Twitter account that there would be a civil war if he is impeached. Very hyperbolic comments from a very hyperbolic president, with the president saying in full quotes, if the Democrats are successful in removing the president from office, parentheses, which they will never be, it will cause a civil war-like fracture in this nation from which our country will never heal. Pastor Robert Jeffries, quoting another individual, promoting this larger idea on, of course, his very popular Twitter account. Now, of course, people are angered and triggered by this and are saying that just him quoting a pastor and talking about this is, quote, ground for impeachment. And again, it's not. It's ridiculous. Donald Trump is also demanding that he meet with the whistleblower that started all of this kind of controversy about Ukraine, about Joe Biden and his son and all of this. And people are again triggered about this as well. The whistleblower is saying that he is afraid for his life, with his lawyers coming out saying that Trump's comments have threatened him, that Trump is calling for big consequences, and there have been some comments that haven't been really kind of well thought out by Donald Trump, but I'll be honest here. I don't think Donald Trump is doing himself any kind of favors when we have individuals like Rudy Giuliani and Stephen Miller kind of being the public defense for him. Newt Gingrich is also coming out in support of the president in public, a long time kind of Donald Trump ally, and that's also not a very good look either. Since Newt Gingrich was the Speaker of the House that pushed for President Bill Clinton's impeachment for having an affair, while Newt Gingrich was having an affair with a staffer while his wife had cancer. Yeah, that Trump, I mean, dude, like, that is bad. And his previous comments about whistleblowers being treated like spies and what they used to do to spies, again, it's very uncalibrated, very not intelligent during this entire situation. But the bigger point that does need to be highlighted and understood here is that we have a lot of individuals in the Democratic Party and the mainstream media somehow now surprisingly starting to care about whistleblowers. But when it came to whistleblowers under the Obama administration, when it came to whistleblowers under the Bush administration, they ultimately just threw whistleblowers away. They don't give a damn about whistleblowers. But now they allegedly do, which should raise a lot of questions. Some of those actually have been answered by actual CIA whistleblower John Kiriakou, who, by the way, we interviewed on this channel before. And his story of officially going through the chain of command is a lot different than this current unknown CIA whistleblower that started a lot of this controversy right now. Since, of course, John Kiriakou was ruined and destroyed from trying to go through the chain of command, which should raise a lot of questions to what is happening internally with this entire Ukraine impeachment scandal that really absolutely doesn't make any sense from a political perspective, from a right and wrong perspective, from an honest perspective. There is something up that is happening that is far beyond what is being told to you by, of course, the mainstream media about the real things that are happening right now between the CIA and Donald Trump. And of course, one of the questions that makes everyone realize this is that any other real whistleblower was always punished, run through the coals, had his life ruined, had been imprisoned because of their actions that were honest. So this new guy, like, nothing happened to him? Like, how's that possible? So again, when it comes to this Trump impeachment, then question everything and just know that when you're consuming news about this, you're most likely going to be hearing just a lot of partisan right-wing talk, a lot of partisan left-wing talk, but just know to question all the narratives around it, since just on face value, this story absolutely makes no sense at all. We covered it. We tried to give you all sides of the story here, but it just stinks to high heaven. That's my analysis. That's my take. What do you think? Oh, yeah, we got a Telegram channel. I almost completely forgot. Everyone, seriously, go check out our Telegram channel. This link will, of course, be in the description below. Will be the first link. Just click on it. Click on this link right here. Join us on Telegram, as, of course, we are looking for more alternatives not to be screwed by the psychological operations, deep state, intelligence-connected social media algorithms that try to program and manipulate you to be a good slave that is divide and conquered and never see the true divine self within yourself or any commonality between the fellow man. I'm sorry, I'm just going to keep ranting here. For more rants, Telegram, We Are Change. Click the link down below. Thank you again so much for watching. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.